This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone, sorry for the delay. Today we'll discuss about order of execution. Then I'll show you an important table that you should learn about request. Just a minute. Yeah. So what is order of execution? When a user clicks on save, either creating a new record or editing a record, when user clicks on save, there will be 20 steps, about 20 steps, but I have listed only 14, but there will be 20 steps that get executed as a process. Okay, so we call it as order of execution, and for every record which is getting saved, all these steps will be executed. First, if you remember, we created validation rules, right? Okay, I'll add a small point. So let's say not here. This point is missing. So whenever a user clicks new, the record will be blank, right? I'll show you. So whenever user clicks on, let's say employee record is there, so employee update is there. Whenever user clicks on new, whatever you see is a blank page, right? So when we enter something and click on save, the data that is entered in this form, including everything, including every single field and also system generated fields. If you remember, created by, last modified by will generate after edit, but created by owner, and all the formula fields will be automatically generated by system. So new version of record will include everything, right? So, but when a user clicks on existing record and click on edit, one version loads from the database, an existing data. So we call it as old version. And when user changes it, something like this. So this will be the new version. But remember, old version, new version, even there are changes, there are no changes in any of the fields, still everything will be included in old version, new version. Okay, so always remember this: old version, new version are not two different records. It's version of the same record. Okay, so whenever user clicks on new, loads new version. Whenever user clicks on edit, loads older version along with the newer version. Okay, then system validation rules will execute. So what are the system validation rules? System validation rules are something like mandatory fields. Mandatory fields are system validations, right? If you don't enter the correct format in the date, then it's also system validation. If you enter wrong format of the email, it's also system validation. So these are all system validations. So first system validations will execute, and if something went wrong, it will throw an error immediately. It's telling invalid data with some fields. You don't see the exact message, right? There is no proper message for this. This record provided contains fields with invalid data. So this one, only that one. Okay, others are fine. Yeah. So this is system validation. But when we write a custom validation, we will write a custom message, right? So that's the major difference between system validation and custom validation. So first system validations will execute, then before triggers will execute. So before triggers means in the triggers we see before and after, right? So all the before triggers will execute in step 3. Okay, that's why we cannot create a new record. I mean, it's not suggested to create a new record in before triggers. Like whenever trigger is created, whenever an employee is created, sales member should get created. That we will not put in before triggers because ID will not be available. We'll see why ID will not be available, but before triggers will get executed. Then custom validation rules. Custom validation rules are validation rules that we write in object settings with a custom SS. So all the custom validation rules will execute in step 4. Later, executes duplicate rules. There is some process called duplicate rules. Okay, we can set a duplicate rule if you does not user to enter the same data again. You can set a duplicate rule. We'll discuss about it later in Sales Cloud, and this duplicate rules will execute. Executes duplicate rules. If the duplicate rule identifies the record as the duplicate user and the user the block action, the record is not saved and no further steps such as after triggers and workflow rules are taken. So the process will stop here. Order of execution will stop here. Then save the record to the database but doesn't commit yet. This is the most important point. What Salesforce is doing, whenever someone enters data, after few steps, after 4 steps, they are saving the record, but it's not completely saved. It's just hold it in the database. It's not committed, but it inserted in the key. It's updated or inserted in the key. It's not. It won't be updated, but it's inserted in the key, right? So ID will be generated, and all the reference fields will get IDs. Okay, so once record is saved, the ID is generated for the record. That's why this save is done here, but it's not committed. That means In other steps from 7, any of the steps fail, this record commit will not happen. So the order of execution will roll back. Okay, so Salesforce is saving the record because it want to give the ID to do other order of execution process. Okay, so after saving the record, executes all after triggers. All the after triggers will be executed, like after insert, after update, after delete, after undelete, all the four. And in before triggers, before insert, before update, before delete. There is no before undelete, right? We will discuss why. Executes assignment rules. There is something called assignment rules. We will discuss about it later. So these are all assignment rule and some escalation rule and entitlement rule. All these are um, into Sales Cloud. We'll discuss about them during Sales Cloud. Just a minute. Just a minute. Yeah, I want to bring up other points. So I observed that some points are missing. So this kind of escalation rules, duplicate rules. Okay, only those two included here, which you don't know. Entitlement rules as well. So we'll discuss them as part of Sales and Service Cloud overview. Okay, going back, execute auto response rules. One more point is there. So assignment rule is something which when a record is automatically assigned to a user. So this assignment rule works with cases, not with all the objects, especially with cases. Cases will be assigned to a particular user. Auto response rules. So whenever someone raise a case, create a case record. So we'll create an auto response like some welcome or some email automatically goes to a user telling that someone are assigned on their case and they look into it. Right? So then executes all workflow rules. If you remember workflows, we can we can do 4 actions with workflows: field update, email alert, right? Task assign and outbound message. All the 4 can be executed in this step 9. If there are workflow field updates the recording. So if workflow is updating a field, then that is also a DML operation, right? So again, the order of execution will execute. Okay. If the record was updated with the workflow field update, it fires before and after triggers one more time. So um, instead of following all the steps, it will execute before and after triggers only one more time with standard validation rules and custom validation rules, duplicate rules, and escalation rules. So all this will run only once, not again and again. Okay. But remember, before triggers, after triggers, standard validations, custom validations, duplicate rules, escalation rules. Okay. Then executes all the process. So now all the process that are created using process builder will execute here. Okay. Executes process and flow, launch via process and flow trigger workflow actions. When a process or flow executes a DML operation, the affected record goes to the save process. Okay. So if there is another DML operation happens, again the order of execution will execute. Then executes escalation rules, then entitlement rules. If the parent record is updated, it's about relationship. If the parent record is updated and grandparent record contains a roll-up summary and is part of cross-object workflow, performs calculations and updates the roll-up summary field in the parent record. Grandparent record goes to save process. Okay, so even the roll-up summary also um, invokes this order of execution. Okay, if the record contains the roll-up summary field or is part of cross-object workflow, performs calculations and updates the roll-up summary field in the parent record. Parent record goes to save process. Okay, so remember, whenever a roll-up summary happens, so roll-up summary happens from child to pet, right? So whenever someone uh, sell mobiles, so number of sales and total amount will be updated in the employee. If you remember, whenever someone sells, generate a bill, that data will be updated in employees, right? Number of sales and this section, number of sales, total sales and total amount sold, right? If these fields are updated, this whole record will go through order of execution again. But only 2 fields changed. So which are again which are system generated fields, so it doesn't need to worry about the order of execution of this particular record. Okay, but going through save procedure means order of execution will execute. Okay, so execute criteria based sharing evaluation. So some say sharing evaluation is there, evaluations are there, those will execute. Here in 18 step commits all DML operations to the database. So record is saved in step 6, but it get committed in 18 step. So 18 step is the final save. So if record crosses 18 step, that means everything goes well, right? Before 18, if anything goes well, the record will roll back. For example, if I click edit, I enter wrong data, click save. Now the order of execution roll back and I see an error. So rolling back means showing the screen back to the user. Okay. And 19th step executes post commit logic such as sending email. If we have set sending email or intimating user, that will execute in 19th step. Okay. So every record, when a user clicks on save, every record will follow this order of execution, will be executed. All the 19 steps will be executed, and if anything goes wrong, the record will roll back and take us to step 1. So this should be 20 because there is a change in bullet point, so 1 is added. So I'll change them. I'll move this bullet point to next page. So but remember, there are 20 steps in the order of execution. Okay, so now I think you might have understood why before triggers and after triggers are separated. Okay, before triggers execute before the save, after triggers execute after the save. Always remember, not set up. So triggers are separate entities. So triggers are saved under triggers, Apex triggers. We call them as Apex triggers. We call these as Apex classes. Yeah, sorry for that. So we can include before, after. Okay. So but while execution, if you remember, when we include before and after, this trigger will execute twice, right? So we should always use this kind of conditions to segregate or to differentiate before triggers and after triggers. Okay, always keep in mind that we should execute them separately. So always after execution should not happen in before. So always try to have this kind of logics, and for before, for insert for before, we can write like this, right? I'll comment this, but so all the before triggers will execute here. Not all, I mean insert, but we can have three kinds like this for before and four like this for after. So always have this so that after triggers will execute in after, before triggers will execute in before. I mean logic. Okay, and we have to discuss one more thing. We prepare a small table. I didn't prepare it because I want to prepare uh, when you're here. So let's say events versus context variables. We'll see which context variable will have data in which event. So we have four context variables which have records, right? New map, old map. So we'll on the table. Let me insert a column before. So let's say new map, old map. And here before insert. I'll do one thing. I'll make the styles better later. So, but for undelete there is no before, but let's skip it. I'll explain you. Okay, how do you prepared the skeleton before? Update, delete, undelete, right? I don't know where a line is. Okay, so okay, I'll do the stylings later. But so trigger.new map, trigger.old map. So new will be available. I say why if available, and if not available. So trigger.new will have value before insert and after insert. Trigger.new map will not be available before trigger, will be available after trigger, right? New map, oh sorry, no, old map, no. Because Word will not have the older version of the data when user creates the record for the first time, right? When insert, insert means new version, always new version. So user enters a new value. So there is no scope of old version, right? So that's why these both are in. Talking about update, definitely why? Because new version is entered by user and old is also available in the database, right? So all these are why, and even new version. Even though new version is there here, why in before triggers new map is not available? Because there is no ID. There won't be any ID for the record, right? Because record is not yet saved before insert, right? That's why new map is not available. It's no, but new is yes. But here in the update, this is just because the data is already there in the database with the ID. Even the new version also will have ID. Okay, so that's why all the four will be yes in before update and after update. Okay, so talking about delete, there won't be any new version because user is not entering any new data. He'll just delete the data from the database. That's why old version is there, and old version will have ID, right? So new map is also, oh sorry, old map is also yes. Here these both are no. And this before and delete is not applicable because there is no before and delete. So I'll put dash, or better we remove this section. I won't do it. Let me just put dash. And after undelete means retrieving the data from the recycle bin, right? So Salesforce will consider it as new record. Okay. So you might ask, it's already existing record in the database, but it's moved to some temporary database, and can't it come back with the same reference? 100% no. That's why this acts like new. So new version of record is there, no word. Okay. Remember this. Keep this table for reference. So this will tell you in which event these variables will have record. So before insert, new will have record, only new version. Okay, trigger.new. After trigger.new and trigger.new map, we'll have record or data. Others will be null. Okay, old and old map will not have data in both the events, before and after insert. Before update and after update, all the four will have data. Nothing will be null. Talking about before delete and after delete, there is no older version. Sorry, there is no newer version. That's why new map or null, old map will have some record. And talking about undelete, in the undelete is similar to insert, after insert. So new map is yes, old map is no. Okay. So we already tried this by debugging new map, old map in all the 7 events. If you remember, we debugged all the 7 events and we have seen, but to have a better view, I came up with this table. So keep this table. This is very important. So this is about order of execution and the events versus context variables. I'll close for today. Tomorrow we'll discuss more examples and tomorrow we'll completely go with hands-on. I'll show you some scenarios where exactly we use triggers and all, and I'll give you some scenarios. So any questions in this order of execution and this table? Okay.
No questions, Bala.
No, Bala.
Okay.
No
Okay.
questions, sir.
Okay.
No, Bala.
No questions.
Okay. Indu, any questions?
No questions, Bala.
Okay. In the SD you missed, right? So SD we discussed about trigger handler, which is also
Okay.
very important. Please refer to the video.
Okay,
And
sure.
if you have any, yeah, you can ask me.
Okay, sure, Bala.
Okay. Tomorrow we'll discuss more scenarios. So theory is done. So tomorrow we'll discuss some use cases and scenarios. Okay then. Okay then. I'll close now. So we'll meet tomorrow. Bye for now. Signing off.
Thank you, Bala.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, sir. Have a good day, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bala. Bye.